I have a podcast. It's called That Scene with Dan Patrick, where I talk to actors, directors, producers about some of the more iconic movie scenes in history, and it's on Amazon Music. This week's guest is Rosie Perez. She was in Do the Right Thing, also White Men Can't Jump. She was spectacular. Spectacular. Maybe the best guest I've had so far, and that's saying a lot. She was so much fun, told stories, so playful. She's in that great scene at the beginning of Do the Right Thing with Fight the Powers playing, and she's dancing. And just the setup to get to that scene with Spike Lee, she tells a great story. She tells stories about Mike Tyson. She talks about everybody was getting stoned on White Men Can't Jump before they were shooting scenes, and she didn't smoke, and she didn't want to get fired. But Rosie Perez, that scene, Amazon Music, she was adorable. Yes, Paulie.
Sitting in the back room when you were doing that interview, and I was getting ready to leave, and it's one of the best things you've ever done. I got more about that movie and about her and the backdrop of that movie, and then White Man Can't Jump. You just kind of morphed right into it, even though that wasn't initially part of it. She told stories that I don't know if she'd even been asked before, or she may have not even thought they were that good, but they were fantastic about hanging out with Mike Tyson in his prime. It was really awesome, really awesome.
Yeah, she said that she's at a club in New York City, and I was in New York around the same time. And I remember some of these clubs she was talking about. She said, I go to this club, and Mike Tyson's there with Naomi Campbell. They were dating. I didn't remember that. And she said that her and her friend almost got in a fight because Naomi Campbell had this long ponytail, and she kept flipping it around like it was a horse tail. And, there's Mike Tyson there with her. And she just tells these stories where you had Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, and they went to lunch her first day on the set on White Men Can't Jump. And she said they were getting high. And she's saying, I can't do this. I gotta act here. And they came back, and Ron Shelton was the director, and he got upset with everybody. And she said she got yelled at. And she said, but I wasn't high. They were getting high. She said Woody could actually play basketball. And said Wesley couldn't, but Woody Harrelson actually had game. Yes, Todd.
She was so genuine about her feelings and so descriptive that she put you right there on stage. You felt like you were right there as one of the actors involved with the whole production.
Oh, she talks about this scene where Spike is in Los Angeles looking for somebody to play her role. And they had a dance club, and as she said, it was to find the best booty, and it was a dance contest. And she got angry that Spike Lee would actually have a contest to find the best booty for his movie. She got up on stage and started dancing and then jumped off and said, there, how's that booty? And Spike Lee handed her a card and said, I want you to be in the movie. Do the right thing. She threw it away, and her friend who was with her kept the card and said later, you got to call him. She calls him, and then he hires her for the movie. But there's a scene in the movie with Ice Cubes and not Ice Cube, Ice Cubes.
Hello.
And Spike and Rosie Perez, and she has her shirt off. She's topless. And she tells the story where Spike had to get permission to do that scene. So Spike goes over to Rosie Perez's parents' house to say, I'm shooting this scene. And Rosie says, my brother-in-law comes in and sits at the kitchen table with Spike Lee, and he puts down a machete. He just wants to let Spike know in a not-so-subtle way, you better be on the up and up with Rosie. And he puts a machete down on the kitchen table, and Spike starts telling his story about how he's going to use Rosie Perez in the movie. So if you get a chance, Amazon Music, there's so many great guests that I've had. I got one with Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie in A Christmas Story. And he doesn't talk about that role very often anymore, but he did. That'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. But there's a lot of great things in there on Amazon Music.